Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Daily Dose of the Spiritual Vitamin with me, Bonnie B. I was just sitting here and thinking, Lord, I don't really understand people too much because I'm sitting here and I'm having a little talk with the Lord about people going through stuff unnecessarily. And I asked the Lord, why is it necessary for people to be so hard-headed? Why is that like that? And what made me ask that question is, I know some people, individuals, who are in situations with people. And the people who they're in situations with don't really care anything about them. But just because they don't want them to reach the destiny that God has for them to reach, they are willing to be the stumbling block out of jealousy. So I asked God, I was like, well, Lord, what is it about people that make them hang on to situations that no longer serve them and only means to bring them harm? Why do people hang on to these situations? And my spirit said, well, because of the level of understanding. I'm like, the level of understanding? Yeah, the level of understanding. See, some people are conditioned in their life to constantly have negative shit happen. They become used to it. It's the norm. They almost expect it. It's almost like if something good happens for me, it can't be real. I'm so used to getting bullshit all the time that I expect bullshit. For something positive to come in my direction, well, that's just not possible. And so they keep these type of mentalities. They hang in there with people who talk bad to them, disrespect them. They are hooked on narcissistic energies is what it is. In public, they act like everything is all nice and they're the nicest person on the planet. But get that joker home, and it's Captain Caveman or Captain Cavewoman. They're narcissistic. They're abusive. They say mean and nasty things to you. They try to cut you down and throw you under the bus and tell you all the things that you're not. And they shoot to destroy your self-esteem, and they shoot to destroy you as a person and your self-worth. And because you have become accustomed to this, you think this is the normal way of life. You think this is how you're supposed to be treated. That if somebody loves you, this is how they treat you. No! That's some sick shit. If somebody loves you, they're not going to throw you under the bus. They're not going to call you everything but a child of God, and they're not going to hit you, abuse you, or treat you less than who you are. They're not going to come into your mind to try to make you feel like you were less than, that you were not deserving of anything. They are not going to come in there and try to put their will on you and force you to behave the way they want you to behave so they can take control of you. This is not love. This is narcissism. To try to, or instead of allowing God to order your steps, they want you to step and fetch it to the way they want you to step and fetch it, and you do it? That makes you weak. That means you have no self-worth, and that means you have no self-esteem. It means you need to grow a pair of nuts or grow a motherfucking backbone. Because the minute that you allow someone else to treat you and talk to you in a manner that makes you feel less than, and you stand up and you take it from them as though they were your parent or as though they had the right to treat you that way, you have no self-love. Have enough love for yourself to not let people treat you that way. Have enough love and respect for who you are. Have enough love for you that God created you as an individual, and He didn't give somebody dominion over you. You are not these people's children. This is abuse. This is domestic abuse. And this happens from women doing this to men all the time. Women do it to men all the time. And because the man was brought up to think and believe that you're supposed to honor the woman because of traditionalism, hell to the no. Traditionalism is the reason we had slavery. Think about it. So now you've allowed yourself to become a bondsman to someone who don't even have as much power as you have. You've allowed yourself to become, instead of an emperor, you're a servant. You have lowered your standards. You have taken your crown off, set it on the table, and let somebody else call the shots in your life. You are now a bridled horse. You are a bondsman. You are a slave. You don't exercise freedom when you allow someone else to dictate your life. No, God is the only one who can dictate a life. And if you ain't got balls or balls enough to stand up, stand for something or fall for anything. Spirit of God makes warriors. Spirit of God stands up against injustice. Spirit of God stands up against domestic abuse. Spirit of God changes outcomes. The Spirit of God is about freedom. Spirit of God is about standing. Spirit of God is not weak. Spirit of God is not afraid. Spirit of God is not boastful. Spirit of God is not proud. The Spirit of God is just. The Spirit of God can have wrath. But the Spirit of God is love. I come in love. But I come to stand for that which is right. When you allow your mind to be manipulated by another individual who can influence your mind and change the way that you think and change your perceptions and change what you believe to be fact or not fact. When you give somebody that much power over you, you allow them to perform witchcraft. That's witchcraft. That's witchcraft. Because you fail to educate and acknowledge things as for what they are, doesn't change it. But what it means is that you need to stand. You need to fight. Stop being a pussy all your life. Stand up. When you fail to wear the crown that God has given you, my blessed and my beloved, my anointed, my righteous, my kings and my queens, when you fail to wear the crown that God has given you, you fail to acknowledge the power. God is not a weak God. God is a God of just. God is a God of power. God fights against the enemy. Do not allow the enemy to make you a bondsman or a slave. Stand up. Do that which is right by God. Stand up and ask the Holy Ghost to hold your back. Because you don't have to stand alone. God will stand with you. But you don't let abusive people take advantage. You put them in their places and you stand up. Stand for something. Or fall for anything. Be blessed. Spirit of God needs you all to understand. It's time to fight. It's time to fight. Be blessed.